After he recovered and moved back to New York City in late 1955, Ditko began drawing for Atlas Comics, the 1950s precursor of Marvel Comics. Beginning with the 4-page There'll Be Some Changes Made in Journey into Mystery issue 33 in April of 1956, this debut tale would be reprinted in Marvel's Curse of the Weird issue 4. Ditko would go on to contribute a large number of stories, many considered classic, to Atlas Marvel's Strange Tales and the newly launched Amazing Adventures, Strange Worlds, Tales of Suspense and Tales to Astonish, issues of which would typically open with a Kirby-drawn monster story, followed by one or two twist-ending thrillers or sci-fi tales drawn by Don Heck, Paul Reinman, or Joe Sinnott, all capped by an often-surreal, sometimes self-reflexive short by Ditko and writer-editor Stan Lee. These Ditko short stories proved so popular that Amazing Adventures was reformatted to feature such stories exclusively, beginning with issue 7 in December of '61, when the comic was rechristened Amazing Adult Fantasy, a name intended to reflect its more sophisticated nature, as likewise the new tagline, "The magazine that respects your intelligence." Lee in 2009 described these short, 5-page filler strips that Steve and I did together, originally placed in any of our comics that had a few extra pages to fill, as odd fantasy tales that I'd dream up with O. Henry type endings. Giving an early example of what would later be known as the Marvel method of writer-artist collaboration, Lee said, "All I had to do was give Steve a one-line description of the plot and he'd be off and running. He'd take those skeleton outlines I had given him and turn them into classic little works of art that ended up being far cooler than I had any right to expect."